Good morning, Pekin AA Dragons hockey fans. Today we are here at the, Legacy 20, Bob Sutter's Legacy 20, formerly Capitol Ice Arena in Middleton, Wisconsin, for Game 2 of the UHT Madison Winter Cup tournament. Dragons are warming up down here. I'm shooting from a corner, but I'm back off the glass a little ways, hoping that I can stay in focus this way. So we're going to try this out. Not a lot of room to operate here, folks. It might get loud. All right, let's rip through our roster here just so you remember who everybody is. One more time, in numerical order this time. Number 5, Sterling Burks. Number 6, Duncan Hill. Number 7, Braxton Quartz. Number 11, Easton Cook. Number 12, Noah Viviano. Number 16, Kean Ledbetter. Number 19, Grayson Blevins. Number 25, Jackson McCoy. Number 29, Nash Moldenauer. Number 33, Jet Nafziger. Number 48, Adelina Johnson. And number 77, Houston Richardson. Down here on the bench, Pekin AA Dragons coaching staff consists of head coach Neil Viviano, assistant coaches Chip Hill, Barry Moldenauer. Looks like we got Brian Blevins on the bench, and no predetermined penalty box attendant at this time. So today's opponent in Game 2 of the UHT Madison Winter Cup tournament is the Mammoth Hockey Club. I think this is the same team that was in our regular season division this season in the Squirt Right 2 division for CSDHL. And they won their game last night. We won our game tonight. So this one probably will have a pretty large impact on the results of the remainder of the tournament here. So it's kind of a big one. See if the Dragons can maintain the first place spot in their division here in the tournament. But a win in this game for either team should solidify a chance to play in the championship game tomorrow morning at 9:30. So, stay tuned for all the action. Hopefully everything's working good. I'm on the rink Wi-Fi here, so hopefully signal stays strong. Does everything look okay? 33's mommy says everything looks okay. Dragons are digging their pucks out of the net there and having their final powwow, and we'll be underway here shortly.
What's wrong with these? Yeah, do it for yesterday. Don't eat them then. And they have one that's a very angry child. That kid looks like he's 15, first of all. He's a very angry child. He's cute. No, I don't even know if it works. We really far from yoga the other day. We really only have 7 skaters.
We got a little bit of a bleacher presence over here in the corner with me, so I think we got some other ones down on the other end and maybe some up top in those windows up there somewhere. I'm not sure. All right, let's go, Dragons. This is Pekin Dragons 10 UAA hockey. And looks like we're going to have Moldenauer at center, Blevins and Quartz on the wing, Nafziger and Burks on defense, Addie Johnson in net. And Moldy for the face-off. Puck's loose at center ice there. Moldy chases it down on the near side, we'll say, bench side, and he'll enter into the zone. sends a pass into the slot to Courts. Ooh, shot. Oh, he got his rebound too. And looks like the Mammoth netminder will cover that up. 11:42 left to go in the first period. Still scoreless. Face-off in the Mammoth zone. Whoop. Right down there. And it looks like Courts for the face-off. Puck comes over to the near side and back for Sterling Burks. He'll send it over to the far side there. Hill grabs it, brings it in across the face-off circle, sends another shot, and save Mammoth. Puck goes back to the back wall, and Duncan Hill chases it over to the far corner. Over for Courts on the far side, and then back to the back wall. Mammoth collects it. Whoa! Puck got stolen by Courts there from the back door, and he tried to backhand one in. Back to Nafziger, and he'll shove it back into the face-off circle. And puck stays in the zone. Back to Hill, and Mammoth brings it across the neutral zone. Centering pass up the slot there. Nafziger drives him back to the outside. Shot goes wide over to the far side boards. And Dragons trying to clear the zone, just can't get it out. Mammoth brings it back in. Shot from the face-off circle got deflected. Burks back to Moldenauer, and he'll skate it back out across the neutral zone. Man. Mammoth brings it back in. Moldenauer turns it around. Cross center ice. Oh, darn it. Here comes Mammoth again. Back to Viviano. Back over to Richardson. He'll paddle it out. Across the neutral zone. And Moldenauer in a foot race for it. Sends a shot. Save Mammoth over to the far corner this time. And Mammoth dumps it back out across the neutral zone. Brings it in to the Dragon zone. Sends a shot. Off the shoulder of Eddie Johnson. Save Johnson. Back over to McCoy. And Courts. Brings it up the near side. Across the neutral zone. There's a pole in your way there. And sends another shot. Got deflected. Oh, bounced over McCoy's stick there. Blevins is in a race for it down here in the Dragon zone. And he'll skate it behind the back of the Dragons net over to the far side. Sends it up the far boards and out to the neutral zone for Courts. And Mammoth brings it back in. Viviano sends it back out up the far side. Mammoth collects it in their zone. Whoa! And Courts snuck in from behind, sends a shot. Goal, Dragons! Courts goal, 9 minutes remaining in the first period. Dragons up by 1. Nafziger and Burks on defense, Moldenauer at center, Easton Cook and Kean Ledbetter on the wings. And Moldy for the draw, and Mammoth collects in their zone. Sends it back out to the neutral zone to Nafziger. Ooh, fanned on the pass there off the board. Back to Ledbetter. He'll advance it in off the near side. And back to the neutral zone we come. Nafziger paddles it back up. And Moldenauer sends it into the zone for Ledbetter. Yep. Oh, he got took out in the slot. Got a delayed penalty on the Mammoth Hockey Club. And he's on his feet, folks. Dragons power play. 8:32 remaining in the first period. Dragons up by 1. Face off in the Mammoth zone. Excuse me. Courts at center. McCoy and Blevins on defense. Cook and Moldenauer on the wings. And Back to Moldenauer. Ooh, fires one up the slot and bounced off the Mammoth netminder. Oh, past the courts in the face-off circle, and Mammoth sends it back out to the neutral zone. McCoy got in the way of that progress, and Blevins tried to paddle it out. And Dragons can't quite clear the zone just yet. Back over to McCoy on the far side, and they'll race it across the neutral zone. Shot from the face-off circle goes wide and over to the near side corner, and Moldenauer sends it back off the side of the net. Mammoth sends it over off the far side, back to Courts. Courts centering past to Blevins. Blevins shot up the slide. Blocker save, Mammoth, and over to the back wall again. Puck's loose, and back out to the neutral zone we go. Down into the Dragon zone. And McCoy didn't realize he had somebody on his butt there, it looked like. Courts turns it around. Oh, got tripped. No call, and back out into the neutral zone for Moldenauer. Down into the Mammoth zone. Centering pass. Ooh, over to Easton Cook in the far corner. And Courts comes in to help. Centering attempt there, got intercepted by Mammoth, and they'll send it back off the far boards. Nafziger advances up into the face-off circle, sends it on net there, must have went wide and off the back wall. Blevins kept it in and sent it back to the back wall again. Back to Mammoth now, and Nafziger at the blue line, fired it at Easton Cook, and back to Moldenauer on the back wall. Tried to send one up for Courts. Oh! And that puck got deflected up in the air there. Back over to Mammoth, and here they come. Across the neutral zone. Nafziger back to defend. And we got an offside call, I think. Try and move over a little bit, see if that helps. We got a face-off in the neutral zone. Hill at center, Richardson and Viviano on the wing, Nafziger and Burks on defense. And Hill takes the face-off, slaps it over to the far boards, comes back to Nafziger in the Dragon zone, and he'll feed it up for Viviano along the far side, races it in to the Mammoth zone. And back to Hill behind the net. Back to Richardson. Oh, back to Viviano. And puck's still loose over in the far corner. Ooh. And Hill sends a shot. Goes through the crease and over to the near side. Richardson paddles it back into the zone deep. On net. Loose puck. Ooh. Save Mammoth over to the far side boards, and Mammoth intercepts the pass from Hill there. Nafziger back to defend, and he'll keep it out of the zone for a minute. Still battling it up the far side. Puck comes to the back wall, and Sterling Burks will collect. Back to Courts in the neutral zone. Races it down in up the near side, and Mammoth steals the puck away. Sends it back out to Burks in the neutral zone, and he'll send it all the way down deep into the far corner. Courts is in a foot race for it. Mammoth turns it around the other way, comes back into the neutral zone. And Burks got in the way of that. Nafziger will collect. Brings it over to the near side. And Courts comes in from behind. Sends a shot. Glove save, Mammoth. Ooh, loose puck still in play. Over to the near corner now. And Mammoth dumps it out to the neutral zone. Got a guy out in front. Nafziger tried to get in the way of that. Ledbetter sends it back in off the far side. And Mammoth will collect it. Here come Mammoth across the neutral zone again. Ooh, send a shot wide off the back wall. Saves Johnson, and back to Nafziger up the far side boards. Races it out across the neutral zone. Sends a pass over for Easton Cook right in the slot. And all the way back to the back wall. Off the near side, or far side rather, for Nafziger. Sends a shot through some traffic. Ooh, loose puck in front of the net, and Mammoth makes the save. I think it might have gone in there after the whistle. Not sure. 3:38 left to go in the first. Dragons up by 1. Face off in the Mammoth zone. Huh? Puck was not covered.
I always look to see because something.
Moldenauer for the face-off over to the near side and back for McCoy. Sends a shot, bouncing in front of the crease there and back off the far boards for Blevins in the neutral zone. Turns it around. Ooh, tried to skate it in and Moldenauer had to pick it away from a Mammoth player in the neutral zone. McCoy drives it over to the near side. Can't see around this post. And Mammoth collects, brings it back into the neutral zone. And they'll dump it in deep all the way to the back wall. McCoy gets there first, sends it off far boards, and Mammoth holds it in. Back to Blevins again.
Come on, Blevins!
Battling for it on the far side boards there. Viviano comes in to help. Got shoved from behind there, and looks like we'll have a delayed penalty on the Mammoth Hockey Club again. 2:46 left to go in the first period. Dragons will have a one-man advantage for the next minute 30. Face off down in the Mammoth zone. Moldy at center, Courts and Viviano on the wing, Nafziger and Burks on defense, and Ash Moldenauer for the face-off. Sends it over to the near side there, bounces out to the neutral zone. Burks sends it in deep on net, and Mammoth will make that save. Here they come. Oh, try to come back in. Moldenauer sends another one over to the far side. And Courts holds it in at the blue line. Advances up across the face-off circle. Sends a shot. Whoa, loose puck. Oh, Moldenauer was right there for the rebound. And he'll send it off the back of the net. Courts runs around for it. And Viviano is battling behind the net there, trying to feed it up in front. And Mammoth sends it back out to the neutral zone. Nafziger back to defend. 1-on-1. And he'll slap that back to the near corner. Uh-oh. And Nafziger will steal that back. Skates it back out to the neutral zone. With some speed, cuts around some folks. So sends a shot. Looks like netminder might have got a piece of that. I'm not sure. And back to Blevins in the neutral zone. And back up to Viviano, and he'll dump it in to Courts. Courts, ooh, stretch pass looking for Moldenauer in front of the net there, and he'll chase it down on the far side, sends it back to the near side. And back to Viviano, back to Blevins, sends a shot. Wide and to the back wall. Over for Moldenauer in the far corner. Sends a hard angle shot there from the side and back over to the near side again. Here comes Mammoth back to the neutral zone. Looks like both teams full strength. Blevins off the far side into the neutral zone. Mammoth brings it back in. And Richardson sends it into the far corner. Back for Nafziger. Ooh, tried to dangle somebody and got picked. They're advancing across the net. And back to Courts. Courts across the neutral zone. Oh, Mammoth comes back with it. About 25 seconds left in the first. Back to Blevins in front of the net. He'll send it out to the neutral zone off the near board. Back to Mammoth. And they'll bring it back in. Duncan Hill sends it across the neutral zone. Off the side of the net. That's going to be an icing call with 2.2 seconds left to go in the first period. We'll have a face-off, quick face-off down here in the Dragon zone. Courts at center. Richardson and Hill on the wing, and Blevins and Nafziger on defense. Courts takes the face off. Back to a Mammoth player. And that's going to do it for the first period of play, folks. Dragons up by 1 after 1 period. All right, we'll take this quick pause here for some 25-26 season sponsors. Hat trick sponsor, Mr. Kirk Nafziger, the coolest cousin ever from Minnesota. Wagenbach Builders, construction company out of Tremont, Illinois since 1980. You got a project? Contact Wagenbach Builders. 309-925-5205 or wagenbachbuilders.com. It's really quiet over here.
We're waiting for the next one there.
Make some noise, guys. Let's go. Hey, let's go, Dragons! Let's go, Dragons! Period 2 starts now. Gonna have Moldenauer at center, I think. Ledbetter and Richardson on the wing. McCoy and Blevins on defense. Switching sides and going the other way for period 2. This is Pekin Dragons 10UAA hockey. Now we just need a zebra. And Moldy for the faceoff. Ooh. Over to Richardson and back to Moldenauer, and he'll bring it in right up the slot. Takes it over to the far side, sends a shot. Goal! Goal, Dragons! Moldenauer goal. Dragons up by 2. 11:46 left to go in the second period. All right, same lineup, I think. Moldenauer for the faceoff. Through the feet of some Mammoth players. Forces it into the zone momentarily. Mammoth turns it around. Carries it, sends it back in across the neutral zone, up the near side. And McCoy comes out with it around the back of Addie's net there. And Blevins drives it over to the near side. Ledbetter comes in after it. Puck's still in the neutral zone, comes back to Moldenauer, and he's going to skate it back in. Right up in, sends a shot. Save Mammoth, and they'll cover it up outside the crease. 11:12 left to go in the second period. Dragons up by 2, face off in the Mammoth zone. Try to get away from that post a little bit here. Maybe. Hopefully. Courts at center, it looks like. Hill and Viviano on the wing. Nafziger and Burks on defense. Courts for the face-off. And Mammoth carries it over into the far corner. Sends it up the far side. Nafziger paddles it back in for Duncan Hill. And Mammoth sends it back out to the neutral zone. Nafziger collects. Over to the near side now for Burks. And yep. Back to Duncan Hill. Brings it over the far side. Sends a shot wide of the net. Off the back wall. Puck still loose, and Mammoth will carry it up the far side. And Viviano backhands it back in. Here comes Courts. Sends a shot. Glove save. Mammoth. Face off in the Mammoth zone again. 10:29 left to go in the second period.
Hey, that's all I got right now. Next game is at that other place, but on the
Courts at center. Hill and Viviano on the wing. Blevins and McCoy on defense. Courts for the face-off. Just couldn't get a stick on it long enough to get a shot there. Mammoth sends it around the back wall and over to the near side for Duncan Hill. Blevins holds it in at the blue line, and Mammoth dumps it back out for McCoy. He'll send it back in offside. 10:10 left to go in the second period. Moldenauer at center, Richardson and Cookie on the wing. Blevins and McCoy on defense, I think. Yep. Mammoth sends it in up the slot there. McCoy got in the way of that progress. Back to Easton Cook. Nope. And puck comes out to the neutral zone. Almost. Not quite. There we go. All the way down. That's going to be an icing call. Even though Moldy will win that race. Another face-off down in the Dragon zone. 9:37 left to go in the second. Nafziger and Burks on defense. Moldenauer at center. Courts on the wing, and looks like Blevins is coming in too. Nope. Oh, yeah. Moldenauer for the face-off. Mammoth sends a shot. Save Johnson. And over to the far side. Mammoth sends it back in. Back to Nafziger in front of the net. They'll stop that shot. Carries it around the back. Uh-oh. Got picked. Back to Blevins. And over to the far corner. Blevins sends it off far side. Courts comes in from behind. Scrapes it out to the neutral zone. Gets it out in front. And sends a shot. Save Mammoth. Face off in the Mammoth zone. 8:55 left to go in the second. Dragons up by 2. Moldy at center, Courts on the wing. It looks like we're on a penalty kill here, I guess. Blevins and Nafziger on defense. Moldenauer for the face-off, sends it into the far corner. Mammoth skates it back across the face-off circle, and they'll paddle it out to the neutral zone and skate it across the neutral zone. Nafziger back to defend. And save Johnson! No goal! 8:38 remaining in the second period. Face off in the Mammoth zone. Or sorry, Dragon zone. Courts for the face off. And he'll reclaim that for a moment there. Back out to the neutral zone. And Nafziger collects it. Jumps it down into the Mammoth zone. And they'll call icing on that.
really tell what that is, so I'll make it 15 seconds.
Looks like 15 seconds left on the Dragons penalty kill here. Courts for the face-off again. Muscles it through a bunch of traffic there. Comes back to Nafziger, and he's gonna skate it across the neutral zone. Brings it into the Mammoth zone, sends a shot. Oh, save Mammoth. Back to Nafziger, nope, back to Mammoth. And they'll collect it in their slot, carry it back out to the neutral zone. Back to Blevins off the far side. And Mammoth collects it again. Whoa, back to Cookie and then back to Moldenauer, and Mammoth collects it again. Turns it around in the neutral zone. Enters in. Whoa, Nafziger picked him off on the advancement, and he's battling it out. Got it out to the neutral zone. Mammoth dumped it back in. And back to Blevins and back to Easton Cook. He'll race it in up the far side. Sends a shot. Oh, blocker save. You want that?
I'm gonna see if it's frozen. There's another one sitting over there too. I was like,
All right, face off in the Mammoth zone. 7:21 left to go in the second period. It's on the wall. Courts at center. Hill and Viviano on the wing. Burks and Blevins on defense. And courts for the face off. Back to Viviano. Over to Hill. Ooh! Beautiful pass there to Hill and save Mammoth. Courts brings it back in, gets it through some feet, sends another shot wide off the back wall and over to the near side. And back to Burks in the neutral zone. Oh, looking for Hill and Mammoth back to Burks again. Uh-oh. Blevins back to defend. Mammoth advances in deep. And off the side of the net there. Blevins sends it around the back of the net over to Courts. Back to Duncan Hill. And he'll carry it across the neutral zone up the near side. And puck's loose here. And Mammoth sends it back out. He'll advance back across the neutral zone. Go, Mammoth.
what was that? Oh my gosh. They're coming at you. Don't go away from
Sorry about that. I just changed the period. Forgot to do that. 6:20 left to go in the second. Dragons up by 1. Face off at center ice. We're going to have Moldenauer at center. Courts and nope, Richardson. Sorry, Richardson and Ledbetter on the wing. McCoy and Nafziger on defense. And Moldy takes the draw. Oh, got it. Almost had it through some traffic there. Mammoth comes back into the zone with some speed. Nafziger drives him to the near side boards there and chases back to the back wall. Back for Richardson off the far side boards and looking for Moldy. Oh. And McCoy brings it back out.
To the net.
Down, sends a shot up the slot. Oh, right off the shoulder or the face mask or something. Mammoth brings it up the far side. Back into the neutral zone. And they'll enter into the zone there. Turns it around in the face-off circle. Richardson gets in the way of that. And Nafziger sends it out to the neutral zone. He's still giving high pursuit there. Cross-ice pass to a Mammoth player on the near side. And puck's loose in the slot. Save Johnson. She'll drop on top of that thing in the blue paint. 5:18 left to go in second period. Dragons up by 1. And courts for the face-off. Ooh! Mammoth got a shot off there. Puck comes over to the near corner down in the Dragon zone, and Burks will collect it. Skates it behind the Dragons net over to the far side, and he'll send it out across the neutral zone. Courts is in a race for it, and he's going to get there. Oh! Sends it through the crease over to Easton Cook, and another centering pass. And back over to Courts. Whoa, he tried to get one into the slot there, and Mammoth intercepts. Carries it back out. Burks back to defend. He'll drive it over to the near side. And Mammoth's shot goes behind the net over to the far corner. And back over to the near corner. And back over the face-off circle. Mammoth's shot goes wide. Save Johnson. Court's battling for it. And Mammoth centered one up. Ooh, snuck one under Blevins' legs there. And Burks will collect it. Tries to force it out. And Mammoth got another shot there. Looked like it went off of Blevins. He'll collect it behind the Dragons' net and sends it out to the neutral zone. Mammoth will get there first. Cross ice pass to the far side, and they'll send it back into the neutral zone. Back to Easton Cook, and they'll send it back in. And Mammoth will collect it again. Enter back into the zone. Moldenauer picks him off, turns it around, skates it with some speed up the far side and down into the Mammoth zone. Brings it over to the near side and back to Richardson. Richardson centering pass, looking for Viviano. And Moldenauer and Viviano. Back to Richardson. And back to the back wall. Moldenauer goes back to the far corner. And puck comes over to the near side. Squirts out. Nope. Dragons hold it in. Burks. Oh, back to Viviano. Richardson helped it in. And then Mammoth carries it back out across the neutral zone. Ooh. Sterling got in the way of that. Back to Mammoth in the neutral zone again. And back to Viviano. Sends it up the far side. And cross ice pass to a Mammoth player on the near side. He'll skate it across the neutral zone. Yeah, we got a delayed penalty on Mr. Richardson, it would seem.
Play smart, boys!
2:30 left to go in the second. Dragons up by 1. Face off in the Dragon zone. And we'll be down a man for 1:30, I think. Courts at center. I'm not sure who's on the wing. It's like Easton Cook, maybe. Puck spills out to the neutral zone. Nefziger's racing for it. So's Courts. And Dragons send it into the Mammoth zone. They'll collect it. Back to Nefziger. And fires one off of a Mammoth player. Gets another shot at it. Can't get it through their feet. And Mammoth sends it back up to the blue line. Cookie holds it in, sends it to the back wall, and Mammoth exits the zone. Back across the neutral zone they come. And send a shot. That goes wide over to the near side boards. Sends up another one, and Easton Cook gets in the way of that. Sends it back out to the neutral zone again. And Mammoth turns it around. Ah, looks like they got a icing or offside call. Offside.
BRB. Are you mad or you I gotta pee?
Got a potty. Not gonna make it.
You'll get a good mile in walking to it though.
Courts at center, Moldenauer on the wing. Blevins and Burks on defense. And Burks breaks that attempt up. Blevins will collect it on the back wall. Sends it off the near side boards. Mammoth holds it in at the blue line. No, they don't. Here comes Courts. Across the neutral zone. Got one guy to beat. And he sent it into the stick of a Mammoth player. He's going to turn it around and go the other way. Moldenauer's in a foot race for it. Uh-oh. And looks like Blevins will stop that shot. Advances up the near side. Pass up to Duncan Hill. What happened? Too many men on the ice. Another Dragons penalty kill. 56 seconds. Fifty 56 seconds left to go in the second period. And Dragons will remain on the penalty kill. Moldy for the face-off. Ooh, save Johnson. And back to the back wall for Courts. Courts dangles some Mammoth players. Got somebody diving at his feet there. Ooh, delayed penalty on Mammoth. 39.8 left to go in the second, and we'll be a 4-on-4 for the remainder of the period. Face off down in the Mammoth zone. Moldenauer for the face-off, sends it over to the far side there. Burks sends it through some traffic, and Courts comes in from behind there. Puck goes over the far side. Mammoth will carry it out. Cross-ice pass across the neutral zone. Blevins back to defend. And puck gets deflected all the way to the back far corner there. Back to Moldenauer. And Courts back to, back to Burks. And that's going to do it for the second period of play, folks. Dragons up by 1 after 2.
Play smart!
I changed the period while I'm thinking about it there. Go around the back. Get some from the side of the bench. Looks like 57 seconds left to go, if I'm reading that right. 50.
No, you said 77. Either one of those are markets. We don't have an 99 and we don't.
50 seconds, maybe? I can't read that. And then, yeah, I can't read the other penalty either.
So it's 31 seconds on 99 and 50 seconds for 24.
Okay. They got the sides, like, crossed, though. Don't they?
I actually wondered that because I was like, who's 99?
But she said
Yeah.
it's a penalty for 2 minutes, so maybe they put 99.
I don't know.
Oh, as a serving penalty.
I felt like it was 9.
All right, let's go Dragons. Final period in regulation starts now. As Miss Adelina Johnson takes her place in net. We'll switch sides one last time and go the other way. Gonna have Nefziger and McCoy on defense. Moldenauer at center. And Braxton Courts on the wing. Oh. All right. Moldenauer for the face-off. Slaps it through some traffic there. Mammoth brings it back across the neutral zone over to the far side. Moldenauer gets there first. Paddles it up for Courts. Got tripped again. And Nefziger pokes it into the Mammoth zone. Back to McCoy on the near side in the neutral zone, or far side in the neutral zone, and he'll send it deep into the Mammoth near corner. He'll collect it. Send it back across the neutral zone. And Napster, get the puck!
Protect your goalie!
Save Johnson! Another shot attempt there almost. Courts thwarted that. Over to the far boards, and Nefzig will collect it on the back wall. Here he comes. Back out across the neutral zone. Cuts into the middle over the far face-off dot. Cuts to the net. Oh, loose puck back to McCoy at the blue line. Sends a shot. Oh, back to Nefziger. And another shot attempt. Oh! Loose in front of the net there, and Richardson sent a bomb way up high, and the Mammoth netminder couldn't quite see it there almost, but still didn't go in the net, unfortunately. And Duncan Hill and Braxton Courts are battling on the back wall in the Mammoth zone. And Richardson back to McCoy. And bounced it off of a Mammoth player, and here we come across the neutral zone again. Nefziger back to defend, 2-on-1. Ooh, off the crossbar, thank goodness. I couldn't tell what my camera was doing there. Oh, shot goes wide, and Nefziger battles it over to the far side. Collects the puck, races it back out across the neutral zone. Sends a shot from the face-off circle. That went high over the net, it looked like. And here comes Mammoth again.
Protect!
And shot off the side of the post there, back to Courts. And he'll drive it through some traffic into the neutral zone. And got it back again. Now he's still chasing it down. Yeah, puck comes back to Blevins in the neutral zone. Cross-ice pass to Nefziger. Dangles a couple of Mammoth players in the neutral zone and enters back in. Sends a shot. Ooh, wide of the net over to the near corner. Centering attempt. Went back to a Mammoth player. Blevins sends a shot from the blue line, and that'll bounce out of play, it looks like. Moldenauer at center, Ledbetter and Cook on the wing, Burks and Blevins on defense.
You ready? Sit down.
And Moldy for the face-off. Over to Mammoth on the near side. Blevins battles it back to Moldenauer there, and trying to get it over that blue line back into the Mammoth zone. Back to Cookie, and puck goes in over to the far side of the Mammoth zone. Back to Ledbetter, and Mammoth forces it into Burks. Uh-oh, here comes Mammoth. Love save, loose puck. Kick save! Johnson! Over to the near side and back to Blevins again. Sends it around the back wall over to Ledbetter on the far side. Sends it out across the neutral zone to Easton Cook. And he'll enter in up the slot. Sends a shot. Wide. It's like the netminder might have got a piece of that. Deflected it to the back wall. Mammoth is racing it up the far side back into the neutral zone. And, ooh, shot goes high there. You didn't see that. Sorry. And back to Viviano on the far side. Got an arm up in the air. Delayed penalty on Mammoth. And Moldenauer peels it in. And that's going to do it for this whistle. It's like we got a penalty on a Mammoth player. Which means we have a Dragons power play. Face off in the Mammoth zone. Dragons will have a power play for the next minute and a half. Courts at center. Hill and Richardson on the wing. Nafziger and McCoy on defense. And Courts for the face-off. Sends it right in front of the crease there, and Mammoth collects it on the near side. Richardson gets in the way of that. Puck spills out to the neutral zone, and Nafziger will grab it. Skates it in up the far board and sends a shot. Goal, Dragons! Nafziger goal. 7:24 left to go in regulation. Dragons up by 2. All right. Blevins and Burks on defense. Courts at center. Richardson and Hill still on the wing. And Courts for the face-off. Puck got lost in the ref skates there. Mammoth brings it over to the near side and enters in. Sends a shot. And Addie got a glove on it, and it's going to go to the back wall, and Burks will pick it up. Battling on the far corner there. Mammoth. There, we got a delayed penalty on Mammoth again.
Easy, Star. Play smart. Good job.
Face off down in the Mammoth zone. If I can move over a little more again. We'll see what this looks like. You just got to try stuff, folks. Moldy at center, Viviano and Cook on the wings. Burks and Blevins on defense. Moldy for the face-off. Over to Blevins. Uh-oh. And puck squirted out to the neutral zone. Burks back to Moldenauer off of the near boards, and Moldenauer will skate it in the face-off circle. Takes it to the back wall. Send it towards the net. Puck still loose in the slot. Oh, I thought that was going in there, but no. Here comes Mammoth across the neutral zone. Burks back to defense. Gets a shot. Wide over to the near side and back up to the blue line. Puck squirts out to the neutral zone. And Blevins sends it over to the far side board in the neutral zone. Mammoth gets there first. And Noah Viviano tried to sneak in from behind there. Just couldn't get a stick on it. Burks picks him off in the face-off circle, and he's off to the races. Easton Cook on the near side, and puck goes all the way down. Cookie will race it back. And loose puck. Oh! Sent a centering pass there. Back to Viviano. Sends it off the back wall. And Courts over from the near corner. Back to Viviano and back to Burks at the blue line. Sends a bomb. Bouncing puck. Oh! Whoa! Goal, Dragons! Easton Cook goal. 5:46 left to go in regulation. Power play goal, Easton Cook. And Dragons up by 3.
Did you see that's what Nash did over here too? And I was like, we are not winning you. It's India. Come to me, my people.
Courts at center, Richardson. And Ledbetter on the wing, Nafziger and McCoy on defense. Courts for the face-off. And McCoy drives that off the far side boards and down into the Mammoth zone. Mammoth gets there first. Cross-ice pass. Richardson tried to keep it in there, just couldn't get to it in time. Nafziger will snatch it up. Around the back wall. And up the far side. Tries to drive it in through some traffic. And McCoy paddles it across the neutral zone and down. Icing has been called. Face-off back here in the Dragon zone. 5:13 left to go in regulation. Dragons up by 3. All right. Moldy at center. Hill and Cook on the wing, Blevins and Burks on defense. Moldenauer for the face-off. Over to Blevins. Sends it out to the neutral zone. And Mammoth will race it down in their zone. Puck stays in the Mammoth zone, and Moldenauer will collect it. Dangles around, or stopped and waited for a guy to go past him there. Sends it into the slot. And it's like somebody had a shot there. Easton Cook, yeah. He's waiting in the slot again. And Mammoth intercepted that pass. Brings it back into the neutral zone. Burks and Blevins back to defend. Delayed penalty on the Dragons. And gonna be a slashing call there. Looks like Blevins, maybe. Yeah, Blevins will go off for a minute 30. 4:33 left in regulation. Face off in the Dragon zone. Courts at center. Moldenauer on the wing. McCoy and Nafziger on defense. Courts for the face-off. And Nafziger drove it up into the neutral zone. Mammoth collects it again. Brings it back in. Courts drives it to the outside boards. Kick save, Johnson. And back to McCoy. Back to Moldenauer. Turns it around. Skates across the neutral zone. Up the near side, all the way in, cuts into the net. Oh, sends it behind the net over to the far boards. And Courts centered it up. Mammoth will bring it back out. Back to Nafziger. Gets it back to the neutral zone. And here comes Mammoth. Cross ice pass, looking for a guy on the far side there, and he'll chase it down, but McCoy picks his pocket, brings it up the far side boards and down into the Mammoth zone deep. They'll collect it on their back wall and turn it around, bring it right back up the slot and out to the neutral zone. Oh, turn it around in the neutral zone. And Viviano picked his pocket, skates it back in, right up the slot. And puck gets freed up over to the far corner. Mammoth turns it around, brings it back in. Kick save, Johnson! And McCoy drives it to the back wall. Battling for it in the near corner. And back to Blevins. He'll collect that. Skates it across the neutral zone. Dangles around a Mammoth player there. Gets out in front. Sends a shot. Oh, save Mammoth. Dang it. And back to Blevins at the blue line. He'll hold it in. And Mammoth brings it out up the far side across the neutral zone. And puck gets sent into the near corner here. Richardson locates the puck, sends it across the blue line, and Mammoth will collect it in the neutral zone. Offside, Mammoth. 2:16 left to go in regulation. Dragons up by 3. Face off in the neutral zone. At center ice. Moldenauer at center. Hill and Ledbetter on the wing. Nafziger and McCoy on defense. And Moldenauer for the face-off. Gets it through some Mammoth traffic. They'll send it off the far boards there. And McCoy back to Moldenauer. Sends it back into the new Nafziger and back to Moldenauer. All the way down. Moldenauer carries it all the way to the back wall. And McCoy in a race for it, strips that puck, sends it back out across the neutral zone for Moldenauer, and he's gonna carry it back in. Send a shot off of a Mammoth player there, and looking for Ledbetter in the far corner. Yeah. Here comes Mammoth. Nafziger back to defend. And Like that one went wide over to the far side. Back to McCoy. Back to Courts. Ooh, couldn't locate the puck. There we go. Back to Nafziger. Scrapes it out. Sends it across ice to the far side, and Duncan Hill chases it down. Goal, Dragons! Courts goal! Dragons up by 4. 54.7 left to go in regulation. Dragons up by 4. Face off at center ice. Won't be able to go that way probably. Cook at center. Richardson and Courts on the wing. Blevins and Burks on defense. And Cook takes the face off. Puck comes over to Mammoth. They'll send it off the near side and back to Blevins. Enters in right up the slot. Sends a shot. Glove save. Mammoth. Loose puck. Cool. Courts almost had another tip in. And looks like the Mammoth netminder will dive on that one.
What?
Oh, Mammoth must be mad about something. Cookie for the face-off. Back to Richardson. Sends a shot through some traffic there. Looked like the goalie might have been screened, but he made the save anyway, and over to the near side. Back to Richardson again. Paddles one towards the net. Mammoth will collect it and sends it over to the far boards this time. Back up to Burks at the blue line. Holds it in. Sends a bomb. Bouncing shot through the crease and over to Courts on the far corner. And 10 seconds left to go in regulation. Your Dragons will be victorious in Game 2 of the UHT Madison Winter Cup by a score of 5-1. Dragons are now 2-0 in the Madison Winter Cup tournament.
Play smart, Houston!
And Dragons and Mammoth line up at center ice for the celebratory fist bump. And we'll see you, what time's today's game, folks?
5:45.
5:45 this afternoon. So get yourself a snack and settle in for Game 3 at 5:45 against the Chicago Hawks. Thanks for watching, folks. 33's Daddy signing off. Let's go, Dragons!
Way to remember that. I almost did. Oh, I didn't.